So remember that an accountant has a full access to your system. So if you want to add another user, please be careful. Don't add an accountant, because the moment you add another user as an accountant, then they will have full access to your system, and you cannot edit the areas where the accountant is supposed to access. So for you to add a new user, you simply come and say add user. You simply come and say add user, add user, add user, add user. Key in the names of your user. Key in the names of your user. So maybe this is Decifer. This is Decifer, for instance. This is Decifer Kamau. Decifer, I'm not sure if this is your name, but I've just given you a new name. Decifer Kamau. Key in Decifer's email, for instance. Decifer, all right, Decifer, are you in a position to give us your email so that you can check this from your inbox and confirm that? Are you in a position to give us your email address? Can you share with me your email address? Or anybody who can share? All right. Thank you. All right, so that's the email address. That's the email address. Comment. Right, so the telephone number, mobile, not very, very a must. So this is basically what we need. This is what we need. So once you're done, you simply hit on save. Once done, you simply save that. Once done, you simply save that. All right. We cannot add an extra user because we are using a free source software. We are using a free source software, so we cannot add another user. We can only accommodate one user and one accountant. We can only accommodate one user and one accountant. So we're not going to be able to add that. But generally, that is how you add users. That is generally how you add users. Now, upon having your users, you may want to control what can they access. You may want to control what can they access. So to control the areas that they can be able to access, still on the administration part, but now you move to control user access. Still on the administration class, but still, but now you go to control user access. Now you go to control user access. So we have got users that have access and users that have been invited. Of course, they all have access. So if you want to edit the areas that these particular users can access, like for instance, here we have John Macau CPA Calvin, you simply come and say permissions. You simply come over here to what? To permissions. You simply come to permissions. You simply come to permissions. And then these are the areas that you can enable this particular person to have. Now, whatever you are seeing here, these are the main areas in Sage. These are the main functional areas in Sage. We have the accountants area, the accounts area. We have got the administration part, banking, company, customers, dashboard, items, quick views, reports, search, suppliers, VAT, and user task management. And of course, if you check on all that, they are here. They are here on your tabs. Now, within these areas, there are specific areas. Like, for instance, when we come to something like banking, there are other areas within this key functional area of banking. You click on the plus sign, of course, everything will be here. So under banking, we have got the option to adjust bank and credit card opening balances. So do you want your accountant or do you want this user to have this right? If not, you will uncheck this box. All right. Bank and credit card categories. Do you want them to access this? If yes, you check. If no, you uncheck. Do you want to enable this person? Like for instance, to reconcile banks and credit cards. If yes, check here. If no, you uncheck. This depends on the sensitivity of the information within your company. Any information that you deem very sensitive, you will not give this person access to this information. For instance, if we get to the administration part, this person, you can see that they can control user access. This is not right, because this is the one. This is a very, very important part. So I will simply uncheck this. If you come, for instance, to customers, adjustment of opening balance, do you want them to do so? Allocate receipts, do you want them to do so? And then, of course, we have got transactions here that are related to customers. For example, here we have customer receipts. We have customer receipts. So do you want to enable this person, like to, for example, delete or edit customer receipt? Deleting a customer receipt, I'd automatically uncheck this. If it were, for instance, an account assistant, I will automatically uncheck that so that they are not able to do that. Edit customer receipt as well, I will uncheck this. So that just in case there is need to do this, there should be an approval. Okay. If you move to something like suppliers, something like suppliers, you move to something like suppliers. We have got purchase order processing, supplier purchase orders. You click on the plus sign, you get more information here. Do you want to enable this particular person here to delete a supplier purchase order? I will say no. Edit supplier purchase order, I will say no. View purchase order as well. So anything that revolves around deleting and editing, I will not allow this person to have. Otherwise, if everything is well set, you will simply say save. You will simply say save. Once everything is well set, you will simply say save. You will simply save. Once everything is set, you will simply save. And therefore, from here, just in case George tries to access this system, then the areas that we have specified, John will not be able to access those areas. And John, maybe you can practice this later and let us know. You cannot access those areas that we have unchecked. Like, for example, you cannot be able to delete any customer receipt. You cannot be able to delete any customer receipt. You cannot be able to delete any customer receipt. That is if you access it through the email that you provided us, that is cpacalvin@outlook.com. You'll not be able to delete some things like receipts. So that is basically how you can restrict your user access to the system. That is how you can restrict your user access to the system. One more thing is the password. So just in case you want to change the password for your system, you'll just come here and say change password, change password, change password. It will, of course, ask you for the old password. What was our old password? Do I remember? Somebody who can remember what was our old password? So our old password was at RCM class 24. At RCM class 24. And then now you want to bring in your new password. So say, for example, our new password will be at RCM class 23. All right. And then here you also have at RCM class 23. Please don't hit change password because sababu to log out. Don't hit on change password because you log us out. So that is basically how you change passwords. That is how you change passwords. That is how you change passwords. That is how you change passwords. So one final thing is now reporting. One final thing is reporting. Now, there are many types of reports that you can generate from your system, and they are classified into 4 major categories. Number 1, we have product or item reports. Number 2, we have got supplier reports. Number 3 is customer reports. And finally, number 4, we have what we call our financial statements reports. Items or product reports, or other stock reports. We have customers reports, suppliers reports, and then finally we have the financial statements reports. Finally, we have got the financial statements reports. Finally, we have the financial statements reports. So all these are reports that, of course, you can be able to generate from your system. All these are reports that you can be able to generate from your system. So to generate reports, actually, you don't need to struggle. If you need something like, for instance, the customers reports, when you just straight away come to customers tab, here we have reports. Then all reports related to your customers are there. The customer reports are very, very much important, because if you are deciding like that you need to give to your customers, you may want who is my top performing, who generates to you a lot of income. So you want to see them. We have customer transactions, I'd hit on customer transactions, then view report, customer transactions, and then view report, view report, view report. All right, great. So here I can see the transactions by customer. I can be able to see the transaction by customer, transaction by customer. Here I have got my first customer here, Chin. These are her transactions. I have here Maya. These are her transactions. All right, you can see. I have apple cider. These are the transactions with apple cider. Great. I have Becky. These are the transactions by who? With Becky. You can see Faith here. Yeminia. So those are your customer reports. Now, to maybe if you want to look at maybe the detailed report about this, you may want to maybe create maybe some visualization about it. So what will you do about this? You'll simply export this into an Excel sheet. You'll simply export this report into an Excel sheet. So how do you do that? Here we have got an option for XLX, which is actually Excel, and then we have CSV. So I will export it to XLS. I will export it to XLX. All right, and there I have it. Customer transactions reports. I'll open the file. I'll open the customer transactions report file. Right, so it's still opening. Okay, what's happening here? All right. Good. So this is our report. This is our report in Excel now. Have you been able to pull your report in Excel? Have you been able to pull your report in Excel? Have you been able to pull your report in Excel? Have you been able to pull your report in Excel? All right. All right. Good. Good. So once you pull your report in Excel, then now you can be able to continue with now analyzing your report. Like maybe you want to do something like a tabulation of this. Of course, for you to do a tabulation of this, maybe you'd want to split, for instance, some things like your maybe you'd want to plot something like your debtors and creditors. You may want to plot like your debtors and creditors, and maybe the balance. So what you'll be interested in here maybe is just maybe the customer name, the debits, the credits, and then of course the balance. But anyway, you realize that this report, for you to plot this report, then it's going to be very, very much challenging. So here, first of all, you need to do some cleaning processes. You need to do some cleaning processes, like for instance, maybe removing the transaction by date, removing the date-to-date transactions, so that your chart is a good one. So you'd first of all want to perform such activities before you finally visualize this. Okay. So that is customers reports. There are a lot of them, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot look at all of them. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. If you want to know which customers owe you money, here we have customer balances by day outstanding, customer balances by days outstanding report. We have got the customers outstanding by days. I mean, customer balances by days outstanding. So do you need a summary or you need a detailed one? Let's say, for instance, you need the summary report. Just if you need a detailed one, you'll of course check on detailed, and then the system will go to generate for you a detailed report. Now, you realize that your reports are categorized onto the number of days. Your reports are categorized onto the number of days. The first one is 120 plus days. So which customers owe you money that are 120 plus days overdue? Which customers owe you money that are 90 days overdue? 60 days overdue? 30 days overdue? Of course, you can see some. Then we have current. And then, of course, we have got the total due here. So this will of course be classified onto which one is overdue, which of course you will get to classify then as a bad debt, the ones that you'll get to classify as bad debts, or maybe once it has gone to maybe something like 120 plus days, if it's maybe your policy, you may write off that. So it becomes what? A bad debt written off. It then becomes a bad debt written off, a bad debt written off. Of course, I had shown you how to write off debts. So that is from the customer. Suppliers, once again, you go to suppliers and then reports, suppliers and then reports. And there are many reports related to suppliers. If you want to see which suppliers do you owe money, those are the payments that you're supposed to make. You have the supplier balances. You have supplier balances by what? By days outstanding. Once again, in items, you have got items, and then here you have reports. There are those. The items reports is very, very much important, especially for your evaluation. The items reports is very, very much important, especially for your evaluation, for your valuation. So that is generally how you can do the reporting about that. But now when it comes to the financial statements report, when it comes to the financial statements reports, for the financial statements reports, all those reports, ladies and gentlemen, you can be able to access it through the reports tab. All those reports, you can be able to access them through the reports tab. You can access them through the reports tab. And here we have reports. And there are different reports that you can access here. There are different reports that you can access here, including the ones that we have just looked at, the customers, the suppliers, the items, and all that, and all those other reports. including now financial statements report. For financial statements report, you just come over here to financial statements. You come to financial statements, and then you go to something like maybe profit and loss statement, profit and loss statement, view report, profit and loss statement, and then you view report. So this is your profit and loss statement. You can see that you have a loss of -1, 919, 377. So you don't have a profit here. Once again, you can export this to Excel. You can export this to Excel. You can export this to Excel. So let's see how this is. Let's see how this is. All right. Good. So once you report, once you export this particular report here to Excel, once you export this particular report to Excel, then here now you have your Excel report of your income statement. Now, suppose just you want to make a plot of this, just in case you want to make a plot of this. Here you have your particulars. You have your particulars here, and here you also have what? You also have your amounts. You have your particulars, and you also have your amounts. So you want to make a plot of this particular report that you have. So you will not plot everything. Please, you will not plot everything here. What you will be interested in here, number one, you will be interested in your sales. Of course, it is total sales. You'll be interested in your total sales. Number two, you are going to be interested in what here? Your cost of sales. You are going to be interested in your cost of sales. Number three, you'll be interested in your gross profit. Number four, your expenses. Number four is your expenses. And of course, net profit or loss after tax. The net profit or loss after what here? After tax. The net profit or loss after tax. So once you have that, then you can now plot it. So you simply come here. Then you do insert a recommended chart here. Let's see. Let us see. All right. Yeah. These are we have this. So okay. Good. So this will be your chart, which you can call your what? Your income statement. Your income statement dashboard. Your income statement dashboard. Your income statement dashboard. This will be your income statement dashboard. This will be your income statement dashboard here. So from here now, you have now prepared your income statement dashboard. Are we together here? Are we together? Are we together here? Are we together? Confirm if we are together. Confirm if we are together. Very good, Calvin. Thank you. The other people, are we together? Are we together? Are we together? People have refused to talk. People have refused to talk. Are we together? All right. Eda amepotea hapo kwa dashboard. Eda amepotea hapo kwa dashboard. All right. So Eda don't get lost. Once you pull your report to all right. Okay. Once you pull your report to Excel, then now this is another concept now that you need to know. Those who are doing Excel course, I believe that you will be taught on this. So once you have your financial statement, ladies and gentlemen, please note that you are not going to plot everything here. Okay, you are going to select the specific line items that you are supposed to plot. Now, what I know that most of you will do is that if you have such a report, then I know that maybe you will be pulling this. Like, for instance, you take total sales, you do what? You copy, and then you come and paste it somewhere. Total sales, you copy, and then you come and paste it there. And then next you take, maybe, for example, your total cost of sales, you copy, and then you come and paste it here. Now, if you've done Excel, then that is not what you'd want to do, okay? If you've done Excel, then that is not what you'd want to do. So just from where you are here, you can just extract those specific values and just be able to plot the specific values that you want only. How? So number one, we are saying that we'll not plot everything here so that we have a nice dashboard. We are not going to plot everything. We are only going to have those important parts of it. Like, for example, number one, we will be very, very much interested in the total sales. So highlight total sales. Highlight total sales. Then next, we need the total cost of sales. Very important, the total cost of sales. Now, you have highlighted total sales. You realize that if you go to highlight the total cost of sales, you will not be able to highlight it. So when your total sales is highlighted, hold on control, and then highlight total cost of sales. You hold on control, and then you highlight total cost of sales. Next is the gross profit. While still holding on control, highlight gross profit. While still holding on control, we may be interested in total expenses. While still holding on control, we are very, very much interested in the net profit or loss after tax. Unaweza wachilia control sasa. And then from there, we need to plot a chart for this. So what do? You simply go to insert, and then normally try to use the recommended charts from Excel. So move over to recommended charts. Of course, if you want to analyze something like, for instance, if it is a time series analysis, a trend analysis. For a trend analysis, you will use a line plot. You cannot use something like the bar graphs that we are trying to use right now to do that. So in this case, a bar graph would be very, very efficient, and especially this one that you can see here, bar graph, and then once you're done, you just hit OK, bar graph, and then OK. And then here, you have your dashboard here. You have your dashboard here. You have got your dashboard here. So here, give it a title. You can give your title income statement, where you have got title chart. Give it a name, income statement dashboard, for example, income statement dashboard. Of course, this particular graph is not fixed as it is. You can change it and modify it the way you want. If you click on it, here you have got the options to modify some things. Like, for instance, if you want to see these exact values, you simply add your data labels. You simply add your data labels, and then you will have that. If you want to change the color, maybe the Azimio color is not good for you, you need the UDA color, you simply come to this swipe like icon. Then you come to color. Then, of course, you'll be able to find you should be able to find your color here, and there it is. You should be able to find your color, and there it is. If you want to change like the style, of course, you can change the style of your chart. We have got different styles here that you can use to plot your chart. We have different styles here that you can use to plot your chart. We have got different styles here which you can use to plot your chart, and you can see them. You can see the different styles which you can use to plot your chart. All right, maybe this would be a better one for me. So this will now be my dashboard that then I can do what? I can now present. This will be my dashboard that I can now present. That's just a quick overview, ladies and gentlemen. I know somebody will want to do an Excel course or maybe the BDA course so that you can learn more about this, But generally, that is the overview of how we do it. That is an overview of how we do it. So it depends with the type of visualization that you want to make. Like what we have done right now, the bar chart or the bar graph will be appropriate. If you want to do a trend analysis, you will not use a bar graph. You cannot use a bar graph to present trend analysis. In that case, you will use something like a line chart will be very, very much important. We have different types of visualizations. We have got the scatter charts, we have some things like pie charts and all that. So the type of chart that you will use will depend on what you want to do. That is what determines the type of chart that you are. Okay. So who is this now? So are we okay to there? Are we okay to there? Are we okay to there? Good. Good, good, good. Good. Very good. Very, very good. And of course, the other report is your balance sheet. The other report is your balance sheet, which is readily available here. We have the balance sheet. So you can have your balance sheet. You can have your balance sheet, view the report. You can view the report for your balance sheet. You can view the report for your balance sheet. And here we have our balance sheet. Here we have our balance sheet. Here we have our what? Our balance sheet. Here we have our balance sheet. Here we have our balance sheet. Here we have our balance sheet. If you once again extract this to Excel, if you extract it to Excel, you open it. If you extract it to Excel, all right. If you open it from Excel, of course, I don't like the white one. I like it with the grid lines. So I will first of all introduce my grid lines so that I can have the grid lines in here. Good. So once you have this, once again, you may be interested in plotting different things here, like maybe, of course, from the balance sheet, there are those specific parts that you'll be interested in. The total non-current assets, very important. Your total current assets, because these are the things that you can use, like, for instance, if you want to see like something like your current ratio, okay, or your liquidity ratio, you want to see something like your current ratio, your liquidity ratio, just trying to assess your trying to assess your financial performance, trying to assess your financial performance as a company and see where you are as a company. How are you doing? So number one, you will be interested in your total non-current assets, all right? You'll be interested in your total current assets. And then next, you can be interested in your what? In your where the liabilities, no liabilities. All right, as equity. Total current liabilities. Which one else? Yeah, I think maybe those are the most important ones in the balance sheet. Because you don't want again to have individual values for this. Right? So you'll just have that. Then of course, again, you will insert another chart for that. So you can either have this or you can have this, whichever. So if we say that we have this, not that a pie chart is for comparison. So kindly, maybe if you want to compare performance like for the year 2021 and 2022, in that case, a pie chart will be very, very useful. Useful. So here is our chart. And that is basically what we are going to do. So maybe just if you check at this chart, we have got this total non-current assets being at the lower level, total current assets being at a higher level, and all that, total current liabilities. And of course, you can be able to see that we are in a good financial performance. Because if you look at our total current liabilities, they are lower than our total current assets. Okay, our total current assets are higher than our total current liabilities. Once again, we have got our owner's equity. We don't have any debt equity. So we are in a good performance. We are in a good trajectory. So the chart really displays for us that we are in a good trajectory. So the other ones, you can then now continue with the other analysis. You can then now continue with the other analysis. Those reports that we are pulling through Excel, of course, it enables us to have a very, very nice overview of what our system is. But as well, you can always access a very, very quick overview of those reports that we are having in Excel through your dashboard. So if you want to get to your company dashboard, if you want to get to your company dashboard, you simply go to home, then get to dashboard. And of course, in inakuanga kama home. So if you want to start from the very, very beginning, you go to home and then you go to dashboard, home, and then what? And then dashboard, home, and then dashboard. And of course, from your dashboard, you can be able to see everything here. You can be able to see everything here. We have got the top customer by sales. Look at this. Very nice. Top customers by sales. Number one is Becky. That's our top customer. Followed by, is that Sirius or Sirius? All right, whatever it is, Sirius Limited. And then we have Beta, we have Amaya, and then Velva. So those are our top customers by sales. Those are our top customers by sales within the system. Nice. We have sales history. Of course, we've only done for 1 year and 1 month, which is actually in the month of May. And you can see that we have got a good sales for the month of May amounting to 405,184.4. We have got total sales of 405,184.4 Kenya shillings. All right. Over here, we have got the dashboard options. And if you want to add a widget ni easy. Hizi vitu zenye unaona hapa, sales history, to-do list, top customer by sales. So if you want to add more, you just come to dashboard options and then you say add widget. So these are now what you always want to see. Like, for example, I may be very, very much interested on sales. Daily sales history. I'll be very, very much interested in that. So I can maybe add my daily sales history. All right. Other things that are very important: suppliers balances by days outstanding, customer balances by days outstanding. Okay. Supplier payments due. Yeah. Supplier payments due. And of course, customer payments due. These are very important. Customer payments due. Top purchased items. Yeah, very important. Top purchased items. Top selling items. Top purchased items and top selling items. Very good. Once I'm done, I will click on save. Once I'm done, I will click on what? Save. And of course, you can see my dashboard has been adjusted. You can see that my dashboard here has been adjusted. Adjusted. So you can see that my top selling items, here I have, of course, it's arranged by, they are sorted by quantity, the top sales by quantity, not by the sales value, the top sales by quantity. So here, my item that is selling more in store is this yellow. I think must be the one that some lady taught us here. I don't know yellow what. All right, but I remember it was something like Kitungu Saumu, I guess so. So the yellow whatever, which we have sold 240. So the profit is a little bit lower, but anyway, it's selling high. Tusker followed by it 218, and then raincoats. Maybe it must be a rainy season. We have this, and then we have the yogurt. So these are our top selling items. Of course, if you want to see details, here we have detail. If you want to see details about these sales, here we have got the option here for detail. We have got customer balances by days outstanding. We don't have any days that are 60 days overdue, but we can see here we really need to do something on our debt collection. Because we can see we have got very, very high debts which are outstanding by 30 days. We have got a lot of debts outstanding by 30 days. 6,925,018. So our debt collection team need to improve on their socks. Our debt collection team need to pull up their socks. They need to do something. Our debt collection team need to do something so that we ensure that we recover this before they come bad debts. Okay. We have got top purchased items. You can see them. Supplier balances by days outstanding. Again, as a company, we also have a lot of debts that we need to pay. We are not doing so good in terms of payment of our debts. All right. So these debts that are 30 days, we need to pay them. They are amounting to 18,845,000 1,050. So we need to pay these debts. Customer payments due, customer payments due, customer payments due. So these are the invoices that are overdue from our customers, right? These are invoices overdue from our customers. Supplier payments due, we have none. We have no supplier payments due. We have no supplier payments due. Daily sales history, you can see on the first day we really sold very high. On the first day we really sold very high. And then of course, as we continue, the graph is moving low. You can see here. So our sales are not regular. We need to do something. Why is it that on this day we sold high, and then on these other days we are not even half of what we sold on this particular first day of the month here, right? Something has to be done. Something has to be done. The sales and marketing department, they need to up their game. The sales and marketing department need to up their game. So that is generally how you can be able to quickly access your dashboard. Of course, you can always shift these widgets so that you take it to where you want. If you don't want this to be at the first place here, you want the top selling items to be at the first, just click on this, hold on, and then drag it to where you want it to be, like that. Then you will have your top customer sales being number one. So you can always adjust this dashboard to look in the way that you want. You can always adjust it to look in the way that you want. Ladies and gentlemen, that will bring us to the end of Sage Online. That will bring us to the end of Sage Online. And I believe you have seen how the use of Sage Online is very, 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 very simple. In fact, I think this is the simplest software to use. This is the simplest software to use, the Sage Online. Very, very simple. No complications, no hard things. Anything that you want to do is readily available from their respective tab. Anything that you want to do is readily available from their respective tabs. How long will we have access to LMS? Calvin, I'm not able to answer that. Kindly check that with Frank. I hope you have the contact in the group. So kindly check with him. So the next thing that we should be covering, is now Sage Desktop. Sage Desktop, so that we see what is the relationship between this Sage Online and Sage Desktop. What is the relationship between Sage Online and Sage Desktop? Somebody is asking about the certificates. We are not yet done with class, eh? We are not yet done with class. Okay. So Sage Desktop, Desktop. Let me just share my new screen. Let me open Sage Desktop first. Then I can be able to share. Let me pause the recording meanwhile. Right. So if you compare this to Sage Online, you realize that here we have got something a little bit different. You cannot see the customers tab, you cannot see the suppliers tab, you cannot see the items tab, you cannot see the banking tab, you cannot see the reports tab. So where are these? All these things are grouped under this one tab here called modules. All of them are grouped under this tab here called modules. And that is why many people, ladies and gentlemen, opt for what we normally call the customized systems. Because right now, if everything is under the modules, and just take note that this is a software from somebody, and therefore it means that you cannot be able to edit it. You cannot be able to edit it. So on a daily basis, you frequently do invoicing, but then now your invoices tab is not readily available here. You need to go over to modules. And then, of course, for you to access the invoicing thing, it means whether you are going for your supplier or your customer, you'll, of course, go to your customer center, your supplier center, and be able to do the invoicing from there, be able to do the invoicing from there. So what you're supposed to do is to, first of all, choose what do you want to do? What do you want to do? So number one, maybe, for instance, you want to enter our customers list. So what do? You simply go to modules and then customers, modules, and then customers, modules, and then customers, modules, and then customers. From there, you can see a list of transactions here, more of in a chart, something of a sort, more of coming up in a chart on the transactions that you can be able to perform with your customers. Here you can process a quotation, you can process a sales order, you can create a new invoice from here, you can allocate stock to that particular customer, dispatch orders, chase date. Chase date is more of a date follow-up. You can post invoices, receive payments, receive payment, of course, chase date, and do batch invoicing. But anyway, once again, to the left, we have got the main tabs here, but to the left here, we have the tasks. So if you select on any tab here, you'll realize that the tasks here will do what? Will change. The tasks here will change to match whatever that you have selected here. For example, if we now move away from customers and then we go to suppliers, notice that this changes, and as well, this also changes. If I move away from modules and then I move now to something like products, notice the information that I have to my left in terms of the tasks changes, and then what I also have on my right pane here changes. So what is happening? This particular information, remember, this is written tasks. Here we have the title, which is actually products. Then below products, we have tasks. What does that mean? It means the activities that you can be able to perform with these products. So which transactions can you perform with, or rather can you perform from where? From the products tab. Okay, which transactions can you perform from the products tab? Which transactions can you perform from the products tab? That is what we have in that particular section there. That is what we have in that particular section there. So number one, let's maybe try to key in a customer, just one, so that you see, is there any difference? Is there any difference between Sage Online and Sage Desktop, and which one will be easier for you? Okay, which one will be easier for you? Which one will be easier for you? All right, very good. So I will go over to modules, then I go to customers, modules, and then customers. Then what do I want to do? I want to key in a new customer. So I will say new customer. I'll say new customer. Now this is where it starts. Number one, customer information. Welcome to the customer record wizard. Use the customer record wizard to guide you through creating a new customer account. The wizard will ask you for the following information, basically telling you an overview of what to expect from this so that you are ready with the information. Number one, the customer's name and unique reference code. Number two, the customer's account preferences, any opening balance that should be applied to the customer's account. Say next. Number one is the customer's name. For instance, Decifa. Decifa as our customer's name. Note that when you enter the customer's name, Sage will automatically allocate the reference number, the account reference for your customer. But anyway, you can always change it. If that is not what you want to use, you can always change it. Say next. You will key in the address details for your customer. Key in your customer address details. Next. Still add the contact details now. Key in your customer contact details. Once done, next. And be able to check on this account status. Account status. Now, this account status from QuickBooks, it is the option that you are seeing. Customer is active. Customer is active. For those who are doing QuickBooks, you are seeing somewhere written customer is active. That is the account status. From Sage Online, once again, it was the same. This customer is what? Is active. This customer is active. That is what we call as the account status. That is what you are calling as the account status. That is what you are calling the account status. That is what you are calling as the account status. The account status. Once you're done, say next. Credit limit. Do you have a credit limit for this particular customer? Is yes. If yes, you will allocate there. Discount, you will allocate it in terms of percentage. Any additional discount, the currency with which you transact with this customer, and you can see that right now it is at default the sterling pounds. Why? We have not activated multi-currency mode. We have not activated the multi-currency mode. Once we activate multi-currency mode, that will be applicable. That will be applicable. And of course, you can be able to use Kenya shillings or any other currency that you may want to use. Nominal code for this particular product, of course, this will always be automatically assigned by the system. Tax code, are you charging any tax? Are you charging any tax? You can see this currently charging the tax 17.5%. So here, if you click on the drop down, you'll see a list of different tax codes. You'll see a list of different tax codes. Okay, you'll be able to choose. You'll be able to choose your tax code that you are using for this particular customer. Next, settlement due dates. These are now your agreements that you have with the customer. These are what your system will use to allocate your debts as either bad debts, debts overdue, or bad debts written off. This is what the system will be able to use to do what? To allocate that. This is what the system will be able to use to allocate those particular details. This is what the system will be able to use to allocate those particular details. So you have got like the settlement due days, after how long should this particular customer be able to settle their debts. The payment due days, we have got the terms. If you have any other terms with this customer, then of course you'll check on this option, terms agreed. Suppose they settle within some days, what is the discount? In QuickBooks, this is what you are seeing as 1%, 10, net 30. 1%, 10, net 30. So for instance, the settlement days, maybe for example, 10. That is settlement due days. For example, 10 days. But the payment due days is 30. The payment is due within 30 days. But just in case they settle it within 10 days, you'll give them some discount. The difference here is you may buy goods on credit. When you buy the goods on credit, the payment, you are supposed to pay that particular debt within 30 days. You're supposed to pay it within 30 days. But what may happen here? What may happen is that you may not necessarily wait for the 30 days. Your supplier may want to please you or encourage you to purchase from them more. What do? They tell you, well, your debt is supposed to be paid within 30 days. But look, if you pay this debt within 15 days, I will give you a discount of 10%. That is what we are talking about here. So settlement due days are the ones that are fewer than the payment due days. Then the settlement discount is if this customer pays within the settlement due days, how much discount do they get? Do next. Credit reference, when the account was opened, of course, you always need to do a credit review for your customers. So when did you last do the credit review, and when will you next do the credit review? Next, you have all that, the banking details for your customer. Next, of course, still your customers' bank details, still your customers' bank details. Next, do you have an opening balance for this particular customer? Yes or no? So here I also want to explain something. Number one, we have no, there is no opening balance to enter. That's self-explanatory. You don't have any opening balance with this customer. Number two, yes, as an individual transaction. Number three, yes, as one value. We have yes as individual transactions and yes as one value. I want to give the difference between the last two. Yes as individual transactions and yes as one value. I came to you and purchased a chair. I purchased a table. I purchased maybe some maize flour from you. Those are debts that I owe you for different goods. When you are entering that debt into your system, how do you want to recognize the debt that I owe you? Do you want to recognize the items, or rather, do you want to recognize the debt by the individual items that I purchased from you? Or number two, do you want to recognize the debt just as an overall debt? Like for instance, I owe you 100 shillings. 50 shillings for bread, 30 shillings for salt, 10 shillings for matchstick. So how do you want to record this balance that I owe you within your system? Do you want to record it, number one, as individual transaction, that is in terms of the items that I bought from you, and number two, as one value, that is just that I have a debt of 100 shillings with you. All right. So how do you want to record this? How do you want to record this? That is what you mean by no, there is no pending balance to enter. No. That was what you mean by yes as an individual transaction, and number two, yes as one value. Once you're done, next, and of course you are done. You click on finish. So you are done entering your first customer's detail. Which one is easier? Is it the desktop version or the online version? Which one is easier in terms of entering the customer information? I'm not seeing 16%. How do you go about it? Calvin, what is that? Calvin, what is that 15% that you are the 16% that you are not seeing? VAT, hatujafika huko Calvin. VAT or tax hatujafika huko. Tuko tu kwa customers. We are still entering customer information. We are still entering customers information. We are still entering customers information. So which one do you think is easier to work with? From entering for entering your customers information, is it Sage Online or it's Sage Desktop? Sage Online is easier for you, eh? All right. Okay. So that is when entering customer details. That is when entering customer details. That is when entering customer details. Let's look at entering supplier details. So we're just looking at 111 because we have done them from the online version. So we're only looking at one each. So we go to suppliers, once again, modules, and then suppliers. Modules and then suppliers, new supplier. The wizard is the same. The difference is now that we are now entering a customer. We are now entering a supplier. In the other phase, we were entering a customer. We are now entering a supplier, but in the other phase, we were entering what? A customer. So I will select that. I'm going to say next. My supplier. There's somebody who put me on their camera. What is their name so that they be my supplier? Eugene. All right. So my supplier here is Eugene. Eugene. That is my supplier. Next, the contact details. You'll go to key them in. Contact details again. Of course, the agreements that you have with your with your supplier, the agreements that you have with your supplier. If they are giving you a credit limit, what is the credit limit discount in terms of percentage? What is that? The credit limit is important because when creating your purchase order, your system will tell you that, well, you are past your credit limit from this particular supplier. Say next. Settlement due days, once again, just like we explained for the customers, the same is, the same applies to the suppliers. The same applies to the suppliers. You'll say next. The credit reference, the account opening date, the next credit review, and the last credit review. Next. Your supplier bank address details. You key in your supplier bank account details. Do you have an opening balance for this particular supplier? Once you're done, you finish. Once you're done, you finish. Once you're done, you finish. And that is how you enter your what? Your supplier details. That is how you enter your supplier details. That is how you enter your supplier details. So we are set in terms of customers and suppliers. We are set in terms of customers and suppliers. The next thing that we need to look at, the next thing that we need to look at in terms of setting up our company before we start our operations is now looking at what we call entering items, or rather entering products, entering items or entering products, entering products. How do we enter our products, or how do we enter our product details into the system? Products, these are what we do. These are what we sell. 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 So for our products, if you want to enter our products, once again, we'll just move back to modules. Everything here is here in the modules. Everything is here in the modules. Then we go to products. Remember, products, these are what you saw in Sage Online as items. You saw them as items. Okay. So I'll move to products. Then from here, if you want to enter a new product, of course, here you can see, here you can have some quick reports about your products. If I want to enter a new product, I will click on this new product. So I'm going to say new product, or alternatively, I can click from here, new. So whichever is going to work, you click on new product. What should you expect when you want to enter your product details? Number one, the product description and unique reference code. Number two is the product information. And finally, number three is sales and purchase details regarding the new product. Sales and purchase details regarding what? Regarding the new product. Sales and purchase details regarding the new product. So you just say next. Number one, you enter the description of your product. You enter the description of your product. Maybe this is Omo. Maybe this is Omo. Maybe this is Omo. So that is my product, Omo. That is my product, Omo. You say next. Location. Location, I said that this is specifically where this particular item is. And I said that number one, you may be having a business that has got different branches. If you have a business that have different branches and maybe your product is not in your main branch where you're doing your accounting system, you realize that if you have got branches, maybe the accounting system is maintained at the head office. So you want to keep track of everything that is available from all your stores. How do you do that? You'll of course do it from this particular tab here. So you'll key in the location of your item. If you have got the item category, of course, you have explained about the category many times. I'm not going to repeat about the same. So remember, for this location, by the way, if you are a business that maybe has multiple locations, and maybe you want a system that can be that can enable you to track your maybe your expenses, your income, and your profit based on your different business locations, then we have a QuickBooks Online. In the Plus version of it, there is the Plus version in QuickBooks Online that can enable you to keep that track of your location. We have the plus version in QuickBooks Online, which enables you to keep track of your location of your different businesses. So if it is maybe something like, for example, we talk about maybe Shell petrol station. Shell petrol station has got different locations. Okay, so if we make an assumption that maybe there is a head office somewhere where the accounting is being maintained, maybe the other locations are also keeping their books, but what happens is that at the end of the month, or maybe at the end of an agreed period, they all report to the head office. So the head office wants to see, like, well, this location generated this revenue, this location generated this, or rather, this is how they spent, and maybe this is the profit that they have made. From there, now you can see which is the worst performing location. From there, you can see your operations decision that you can make for that specific location. Are you going to shut operations there? Are you going to continue still with the operations there? What are you going to do about that particular location? So if you want to keep track of your location, QuickBooks Online, the Plus version, does it very well. So just in case you are looking for such a system, that would be an appropriate system for you. Say next. Then you have the sales price of the item. You have got the sales price of the item. Why am I thinking I skipped something? Okay. All right. The sales price is the price at which you are selling this item. So this is Omo. Say, for example, I'm selling at 50. For example, I am selling at 50. I am selling at what? At 50. I am selling at 50. Unit of sale. Unit of sale. The 50 is for what unit? This is how you measure your item. Do you have a unit of measure for your item? Units of measure, these are kilograms, milligrams or millimeters, liters, account in terms of 1, 2, 3, and all that. So how do you sell the 50? You'll of course define it, right? Then we have a tax code for the specific item, the department, item type. Is it a stock type, a non-stock type, or it is a service type? Is it stock item? Is it non-stock item, or it is a service? You'll of course choose. Let's make an assumption this is a stock item. You choose that. Then you say next. Supplier account. Do you have a specific supplier who does you this? In Sage Online, you saw it called preferred supplier. In Sage Online, you saw it called preferred supplier. And the same was there with QuickBooks. The same was there with QuickBooks. It was also called preferred supplier. It was also called preferred supplier. So do you have a preferred supplier for this particular item? If you have, you will select from your list of available suppliers. You will select from a list of your available suppliers. This, of course, the supplier part number, the purchase nominal code, reorder level, reorder quantity, and then the cost price. Now, the reorder level is what you saw in the online version called minimum, reorder minimum. I don't know if it was in Sage Online or that was QuickBooks. We have got reorder point where we have got the minimum reorder point, and then we have got the maximum reorder point. Okay. So the minimum is the reorder level. That is the level at which when your stock gets, then you need to make a new order. The level at which when your stock gets to that particular level, you need to make a new order. And then the reorder quantity is now, well, you have said that, okay, my items in store can never go below 10. When it gets to 10, what is the quantity that you need to reorder? Maybe you need to reorder 50. So your reorder level there is 10, but your reorder quantity, what you are taking from your supplier or what you need to order from your supplier is going to be 50. Is going to be 50. Is going to be 50. The cost price for your item, how much are you selling your item? I mean, how much do you buy your item? Maybe 30, so that will be that we are making a profit of 20. Maybe 30. Maybe you are buying your item at 30. 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 Once you're done, you say next. Right? So do you wish to enter an opening balance? Do you wish to enter an opening balance for your new product? Do you wish to enter an opening balance for your new product? So, no, there's no opening balance to enter. And yes, I wish to enter an opening balance. I wish to enter an opening balance so that when doing a transaction, we are able to easily do a transaction with this. So yes, I wish to enter an opening balance. Then I say next. Reference, it's opening balance. Quantity, maybe I have 300 of it. Cost price. Now you realize that there is this cost price here, and there is the cost price that we had before. The difference is you may be there. Of course, I understand that you have different ways of carrying out your stock valuation, and maybe you may value your opening stock based on the opening balance of that particular stock, and then your new stock based on the price at which you purchased your new stock. This happens many times. Kama bei za vitu zimeongezeka, what do? The items that you had in stock unaongeza bei zao. Bei ikipungua, the items that you had in stock una maintain ile bei ya juu as you wait for to start reselling at a lower price. So that is what happens. But when the prices increase, you are very fast. I'm now talking to shopkeepers. You are very fast to increase the prices of goods, including the stock that you purchased at a very low price. So that is why here we have cost price while entering the opening balance, and we had cost price the other side. So at this point, you may want to key in maybe the price at which you bought this particular item. So that is the price at which you will do what? The price at which you will value your item. Let's make an assumption. It was still at 30. Once done, next. Date entered is outside the current financial. Do you want to continue? All right, no problem. So you have successfully entered details for your new product. Select finish, and the new record will be recorded. I finish. So now I've got my items. I've got my suppliers, and I've also got my my customers. So next is now to continue and do my transactions. Next is now for me to continue, and now I can transact. I can now transact. Is there anybody with a question to that point? Which system do you find easier for you up to where we are? The online or the desktop? The online or the desktop? Which one do you find easier for you up to where we are? Calvin is finding online the best. Okay. The other people, which system are you finding easier for you? The online or the desktop? Online or desktop? Online. Okay, Decipher is online. All right. Mercy online. So many people are running online. Okay, Mary, you also for online. Isabella online. Nobody supports desktop. All right. No problem. Very good. Now the next thing that you now need to look at is now the transactions. The next thing that we now need to look at is the transactions, because we have now recorded, or rather we have set up our profile, or we have set up our company profile. So we now need to look at the transactions. And in terms of transactions, of course, you know the transactions that we carry out, the major transactions that we carry out. And we start with, of course, what we looked at. Number one was carrying out cash sale, carrying out a cash sale, which is in terms of creating a receipt. So we are only going to look at the receipt, and then we can be able to stop there. We are only going to look at the receipt, and then we stop there. So to create receipts, where is that? That is at all right, before I say, somebody should tell me, if you want to create a receipt, where do you think we'll go? If we want to create a receipt, where do you think we should go? If we want to create a receipt, where do you think we should go? Where do you think we should go if we want to create a receipt? Based on what we have done, where do you think we should go if we want to create a receipt? Customer and then transactions. Very good. A receipt, we create a receipt for a customer, all right? We create a receipt for a customer. Very good. Thank you, Eda. Customers. We should go to customers. Very good. So that's what I'm going to do. Just like you've told me, I'm going to go to modules and then customers. Modules, and then what? Customers. Modules, and then customers. Once you get here, look on your left pane under tasks. Here are a list of transactions that you can do with your customers or those that you can do from your customer center. And you can see here that we have got an option to receive payment. Receiving payment, that is what we mean by creating a receipt. Okay, so you've seen it in other softwares. It's called, something like process, cash sale, create receipt, customer sales receipt, and something of a sort. So you may find it maybe in different ways. So you just need to know what you're supposed to do. So here I'm going to receive payments. I'm going to receive payment. I'm going to receive payment. Here I have customer receipt. I have got the customer receipt. Of course, the first thing is just the customer details here. I will select my customer, for example, is Decifa. My customer, for example, is Decifa. My customer here is Decifa. And then here, I should be able to select which items am I receiving the payment for, which items am I receiving the payment for, which items am I receiving the payments for, and maybe the total amount that I am receiving payment for this. Once again, if you check at this system, you'll realize that look at this. This is inactive. And you realize that it is just like in the other in the online system where you cannot directly create a receipt. And therefore, what do? You allocate a receipt to an invoice. When you are creating an invoice, that is when you will have an option to do what? That is when you will have an option to key in your item details. That is when you'll have options to key in your item details. At this particular place here, what do? You are only receiving customer payments. So what do you do here? You just enter the amount. Say, for example, 50,000. 50,000, for example, the amount that you are receiving from your customer. Here, you cannot be able to enter anything. Here because you cannot create a direct receipt. What do? You need to, first of all, create an invoice. Then, just like we did in the online system, be able to attach that particular receipt to an invoice. Once you're done, you'll select whether you want to pay in full or you want to save it. Okay, so let me say I save this. It says there is an unallocated check balance of 50,000. Do you want to post this as a payment on account? So what is this? It is an unallocated check. You have received a payment from a customer, but you have not specified where is this payment going. Therefore, this stands as a customer balance that you owe them. So that next time you create an invoice with Decifa, you'll be able to use the probably whatever amount that they have in their store with you, whatever amount that they have in their account with you to settle their dues, So that's well, I'm just going to say yes. I'm just going to say yes. If it prompts me for this particular option of the date outside current financial year, I'll still say yes, because I just need to enter the transaction. So with that, now I have just created a receipt. But remember that my receipt is not attached to any specific invoice. And therefore, in the next session, that is where we are going to start from creating an invoice. We're going to start from creating an invoice. Being a weekend, I'd leave you at that particular